And
Hey, Michael. Oh, I need to add myself to the. I had to add myself
yeah,
to the agenda. This is very important.
hey Benji.
Hi, folks. Michael, I
Hi.
don't think you're in the agenda yet.
In this second, yes, I am.
I'm just merging one of the memberships from a couple of weeks ago. All right, that's just gone through as well. Okay, fantastic. I think that we are all here. Wonderful. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to September's primary composite schemas working group meeting before the main GraphQL working group, the spec working group for a change. So that's nice. Right. By being here, we have all agreed to the specification membership agreement, the participation guidelines, the contribution guide, and the code of conduct, links to all of which you can find in the agenda. Let's start with a quick introduction of the attendees, which we'll do in the order that they are in the agenda, though I'll start with myself. Hello, everyone. I'm Benji.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael.
Oop, Shane from Apollo.
It's Derek here.
Martin from Apollo.
And I'm not on the agenda. I just added myself, but David from Hasura.
Welcome.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. Jeff is on the list, but not here. So when I counted before, I think got a little mistaken there. Nonetheless, I'm sure he won't mind if we continue without him for now. Is anyone willing to take notes today, please? I can certainly help with that, but other help would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I can take notes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shane. Okay, so we don't seem to have any specific topics in this agenda. I'm actually going to skip over the order that we've done them in, and I'm going to go straight to the action items to review because I don't think there are any. Yeah, there is one action item that was on everyone, which is to review the existing and submit additional test cases. Would you say that this is still a relevant action, or is this now done? Michael, this is you're the champion of this, so.
Yeah, we can leave that open because it will take a while for it's an ongoing process as we add more things.
Perfect. So just a reminder that that is an ongoing process. So any help on that would be appreciated, I'm sure. So normally now we would do a quick review of the previous meeting. So Michael, I'll hand over to you for that.
Yeah, so in the past meetings, we have moved from the directives that we defined to the composition process, which we have defined a couple of rules, not yet all of them, and also not in the detail we want to have them, but it's the start of the more complex stuff. We also have submitted an early draft of the batching to the HTTP group. There is, like we discussed it last week, we're gonna, instead of having two appendices, we rather do one appendix that describes both batching mechanisms and also then shows a bit how they can be combined. But this is also a bit dependent on the HTTP working group. Yes, so that's a bit it. We also discussed naming a bit and problems with naming. Like the group internally has come to the agreement that GraphQL Federation would be an acceptable name for us. And we reached out a bit to Azura. And on my list is also IBM to get them on board with this, because if we choose that as a spec name, I talked to Lee. He was, as I was before, to be honest, not yet there, because if we release a spec and some other vendor has a product that claims to be GraphQL Federation, then we would invalidate their thing. And with that, he has concerns around how this spec will be accepted, and also that we don't get problems with our members in the GraphQL Foundation. So in order to remove any contention, we have reached out. I think that's also why David is here, to get thoughts from Hazura and also others.
Oh yeah,
Before
that's one of the reasons that I'm here. The other
Yeah,
reason is just it's an enriching experience. But
yeah, that sums a bit up what happened in the last 4 weeks, and soon we all will have a beer together, or whatever other drink you like, in San Francisco.
Excellent. That's all awesome stuff. So just to summarize the naming discussion, we're still in talks with the various vendors about that. Is that correct?
Yes, because like if we don't get an understanding on that, then we would have to revisit the naming discussion.
Yeah.
And in any case, we if this group decides on a name, we still have to take that back to the primary working group, and then also should bring that to the through the TSC, just that we have a clean process on that, and there is no one that feels overruled.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I think now that we have David here, will be interesting to hear more about sort of Hazura's use of the term GraphQL Federation and sort of where they are planning to take that, because it's my understanding, like in previous versions of the product, there was a mention of like GraphQL Federation. Wasn't exactly a spec, but it was a description of sort of an architectural pattern. But in more recent versions of Hazura, the DDN product, it seems the term federation is not used as prominently, and GraphQL Federation as a like proper term isn't used at all. Is that a good summary?
I think that's a good summary, and thank you for that. I think we can. So Hazura has used the term federation in the past in our version 2 product, specifically referring to federation compatibility, but that's a separate thing. We have also in our documentation and in some of our outreach used the more expanded concept of federation as an architectural pattern. In version 3, that's absent. Now, I have no idea what mischief the marketing department is planning on getting up to, but it seems like we are sort of adopting different language. So what I can do is convey these important facts from this group to our team and make sure that this is addressed. I don't have the power to decide that, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure it looks like we are moving away from considering that as an architectural concept anyway. So I think we can maybe take some solace that there might not be contention after all. But I will find out and report back to you. I was hoping that my boss Sandeep would be here, but I've reminded him a few times. So you only have me.
No problem. That's still appreciated.
Yeah, like for the conference, we will not be able to use the naming, but this is a process. It will take a while to get it through. And you guys are basically the first we clear it on.
Yeah. Are we able to use the term federation instead of composite schemas though? Because my concern is that we'll be generating content and we'll be like publicizing this beyond the small group that is aware of this effort right now, and it might be confusing if we like announce something as composite schemas later.
I have if you do that in your talk, I would have no concern. But for me, in the keynote that is from the GraphQL Foundation, we have not cleared that as a name. I don't know what Benji's thought is on that, but I would like to have a consensus on that.
But would we be able to mention the fact that sort of we're considering this, or like would we be able to like at least call out the fact that we're considering calling this GraphQL Federation, so people can sort of connect the two when they rewatch it?
Like in the discussion, probably yes. In the keynote, I would not, it's complex in 10 minutes to explain the naming discussion, so I wouldn't like to confuse people. But this could change if I get I will talk to Lee again and see.
Yeah, and maybe we can sort of find some balance, like call out the fact that we're working on a federated GraphQL spec, naming to be decided. For instance, like instead of calling it the composite schema spec for now.
Yes,
sure. I could see like an informal designation, right, like for all intent, you could talk about it in that way, but still make sure to be correct about the formal name or whatever, or the current name.
Yeah, so we definitely can talk about federated. Is no problem. I just the one contention is that we do not upset any other member in the GraphQL Foundation that uses it in their product, and it sounds good with Sazura, but also there we need a final confirmation that it's okay with them.
Yeah, I'll obtain confirmation immediately. I don't think that I don't think anyone will be upset, and if they are, I'll deal with them.
Yeah, that would be good if you just rubber dug it.
Yeah. And can we decide then to if we do not get sort of formal permission, or if we can formally decide on a name before, to refer to it as the naming as TBD, like the federated GraphQL spec name TBD instead of composite schemas spec?
Yeah, something. But Benji, what are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts generally align with yours, Michael. I think until we have approval, we shouldn't call it GraphQL Federation. But I think it's okay to say that effectively it's an unnamed spec, or it's a spec that we're hoping to name I don't know, risky to say hoping to name it GraphQL Federation. That's probably more
Candidate
information.
name or like a, whatever.
Yeah. And I think it's also okay to refer to the working group as the Composite Schemas working group, because effectively what is coming out of it will be hopefully a GraphQL Federation spec, right? But initially, the purpose of the working group was to think of all the different ways, including things like Nadell, that were different ways of combining schemas together, even schema stitching and stuff like that. We have narrowed the focus to cover this one specific spec, but that doesn't rule out this working group from talking about other things in future as well. But this is clearly our one main focus right now. So when talking about the working group, I think calling it the Composite Schemas working group is perfectly fine. That's my opinion.
I think that's also I think that gives us a good segue, right? We could say we are working within the Composite Schema working group on a yet unnamed federation spec, or a yet unnamed spec for federated GraphQL, something like this. This way, it's not called the Composite Schema spec, but we already put the right terms in. And then maybe we get, like, we have I don't know if we can use the primary meeting in San Francisco even to get this through, but like we will have there the best place to get all the yeses from the right people, because we are all together, right? It's a bit a pity. We had, if we had come to this conclusion earlier, we might have a yes. But I mean, is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, I think the board meeting would be a great time to get like approval from all the members, but I think that's on Thursday, so it's a bit too late.
Yeah, I think my only concern before was like generating confusion, because we do, like, if we were to call it the Composite Schema spec and like avoid the name Federation altogether, maybe even as we were sort of planning on doing before. But if we like, as you did, Michael, I think that's a great description of what we're trying to do, and I think it will be clear to people when we do like get formal approval that this is what we were referring to.
Yeah, I mean, in the keynote, I'm also telling the story about the heritage, and like also showing a couple of bits and pieces, introducing the foundation to the spec. I mean, it will be a quick 10-minute overview in the keynote, but people will get, I think, the essence of that.
Yeah.
And then we can, anyway, after the conference, when we have this through, we can do another blog post, and then also announce it with the final name.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. Just because I've not been involved in all the previous discussions, can I infer from this, or maybe Martin, you'd answer me directly? Are Apollo themselves keen for us to use the GraphQL Federation term?
Yeah, I think internally, like we've discussed this, and it seems like it's the sort of the less confusing name. It shows sort of continuity. The term federation is already being used. Even the term GraphQL Federation is already being used in this sense. Like people who are using it to refer to like compatibility with Apollo Federation. And also as a general term for the architectural pattern we're designing this spec for. So it seems like it's the name that sort of describes what we're doing here in the least confusing way. So we're definitely on board with that.
Yeah, and I just as a note, I got like we took basically not an official vote, but to get everybody's opinion last week, and all the members, like even including the guild, not even the guild, they were not against it, including the guild, voted basically yes, they are okay with that name. It's just that we wanted to make sure that because there are a lot of GraphQL vendors out there that use this term, but they don't use it for what this spec will be.
Thanks. I'm struggling to take notes whilst also communicating.
Don't worry.
Yeah, this is great. I'm happy that everyone's aligning around this. So yeah, it'd be great once we do have all the yeses. On the subject of the conference, I know a number of you have a few individual talks, but is everything finalized for the panel now?
I think yes.
Yeah, we went over the interview questions, I think, last week. Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And I'm catching up with Danielle later today to just go through the script. I'll be setting up a Slido for audience participation, and I think we're good.
That would be, by the way, Benji, also cool for the TSC panel to use Slido. Do you know what Slido is?
Is that like the interactive polling thing?
Yeah, you can have pollings, but we would need to have a question for that. But you can also let the users a bit ask questions on predefined things.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
Cool.
it's not just TSCs chatting, but it's also like people can throw things in.
Okay, let's you and I talk about that offline.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Thanks too.
Okay, we don't have anything else on the agenda, but I'm sure there are plenty of things that need discussing. Is there something particularly high priority we'd like to discuss before the conference next week?
Actually, not. Like, I wanted to cancel it, but then we got on the call anyway, just because of the naming discussion. Because David was coming, so we took the opportunity.
Thank
But
you.
I think
I'm honored.
but everybody is working on their talks. I got that from the chat.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm perfectly happy to call the meeting early if you want, or if there's any other topics that we'd like to discuss at the moment, please raise them now. Okay, I don't see anyone waving their hand or anything, so I'm going to assume that's a no, in which case we'll get the rest of the hour back and you can all go back to working on your talks, and I look forward to seeing you all next week, those of you that can make it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
See you there.
See you next week, guys.
See you next week. Thanks.
See you then. Bye.